Welcome to North Dakota After Dark. We're in North Dakota. It's after dark. It's also cold now, which I'm not a fan of. And we are mere hours away from national, not international, mind you, National Hockey Mom Day. So this is the Hockey Mom Spectacular / variety show. And we're really pleased today, or tonight, I guess, to be joined by Jess Gowan and by Katie Marcotte and Kelly, also a hockey mom.
Also, yeah.
And a regular. So
yes, I throw in Katie and I are filming together because Katie is my sister.
right.
So
and five squares would have really thrown off the feng shui of our show. So
yeah,
thank you for
exactly.
doing this. Yeah. As I mentioned, it is Hockey Mom Day tomorrow, National Hockey Mom Day. So I guess that does not extend to Canada or parts unknown. So we will keep Hockey Mom Day contained to our number one country here. And so really wanted to just do a show that talked all things hockey mom, hotel etiquette, all the way down to how you tie skates and everything else in between. So I guess with that, Jess, being that you are on top of the squares, tell us a little bit about yourself and how you became a hockey mom.
Oh, so my name is Jess Gowan. I grew up north of Grand Forks, about 45 miles, the town of Forest River. I went to Midway High School, went to all these different places for college, and ended up back in Grand Forks, North Dakota. I became a hockey mom due to the influence of a lot of neighbor kids. I grew up with basketball. I'm a very big fan of Class B basketball, or what was Class B basketball. And so if somebody would have told me 15 years ago that I would be considered a hockey mom, I wouldn't have believed it. But those neighbors, they have a strong influence. And so here we are today.
Wonderful. And in our other guest, obviously, is Katie Marcotte. Katie, thank you for joining us. Tell us your story, your hockey mom story.
Well, I started out playing hockey with the boys. So I was one of the only girls down in Riverside Park with all the boys. And I absolutely loved it until my mom made me quit because the checking started and she didn't want me to get hurt because I was really little. And I wouldn't have. I would have been just fine, but she was just paranoid that I was going to get hurt. And then I'm a native of Grand Forks, born and raised. And I have three boys who have played hockey all the way through. So we did the youth hockey, we did high school hockey, we did juniors, and now I have two that are in college, and my third one didn't play on. And that was a lot of drama at my house too, because the two older ones are angry with him because he didn't play on. And he was just like, I want to make money. I don't want to play on. I want to start my career. So I have a little bit of everything. I've seen a lot with the three of them. So they all played for Central. I hope everybody's Central fans here.
Well, we had a lot of
No.
Central drama this past week with the Central Red River ratio. So it's good that we have
it's been pointed out to us we favor Central, which we don't care.
That's okay. That's all right.
Yeah, Katie, I did an apology video for that wearing a Central too. I think I made the point.
We're really, really sorry.
Yeah. So, well, that's great. So the nice thing, one of the reasons we invited you guys, in addition to the fact that you're nice people, is both ends of the spectrum. Kids that have already been through, and then just with kids just starting. And two brief facts. This is the second show in a row that's mentioned Midway High School, which is something I never thought would happen.
I picked up on that as well. And also, basketball's got to be big in Midway, because when we found out Bob Dina was a Midway basketball alumni, that was a shocker to me. That was news. I didn't know.
Yeah, right. And then I guess we should slowly break this to Corey, but everyone on this program is either currently or formerly from way north. And I think Corey has issues with everything north of him. So
yeah, Corey,
I hope you can muddle through.
It's gonna be a rough night already. I can feel it. I'm just gonna, you guys handle the podcast. I'm just gonna go sit in my corner and drink. I'll be fine. It'll be fine.
That's totally fair. Maybe that's a perfect segue, so everyone can tell us what, in fact, they are drinking tonight.
We went with the theme.
I picked up Mom Waters for us. Introduced Katie to Mom Water, Lady Linda.
Yeah,
Tremendous.
Linda.
Yeah. So I made a special stop just for it.
I love it. Jess, what do you
Is
got?
the brand actually Mom Water?
Yeah.
Jess.
Yes.
It's Mom Water, and it is good. And it is refreshing and delight. She doesn't like it as much, but she's dumb. And this is just she will get to like it. But it's good stuff. And they're all different mom names. This is Linda. But there's Susan and Nancy, Karen. Yeah, they're delightful.
I think if it
This is
wasn't
like
Pete,
Yeah.
I'd be okay. But Pete
Right.
has bad history with me, so it's like reliving my high school years in a bathroom.
That's your trauma.
Yeah.
It's just your trauma talking.
I'm not high school.
You mean college? Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Well past post 21. Right. I got you.
Right.
So, Jess, what about you?
Ooh, well, I have, not a shocker to anybody that knows me, a high noon tequila.
Oh, I like it.
But for the record, I can make a fool of myself with or without alcohol. You just happen to get the with today.
That's perfect.
So,
that's what we asked
same
for.
thing any day.
Story of my life.
Yeah.
Corey, what do you got?
Since we're going to Canada this weekend, I'm going to scum it a little bit. So I'm drinking my whiskey with Diet Coke. I'm having a Fendi diet.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. I also, because it's almost National Hockey Mom Day, I'm tipping back,
Karen.
which is not only a good drink, but also the best cousin.
Oh,
in the
he's got
world.
he did it too.
Karen, yeah, Mom Water.
I'm glad
I'm telling
we
you.
were introduced first, so we could be the ones that.
Yeah. And
Mom Water is where it's at.
And I would also, Jess, if you want to quit the podcast right now and go get yourself some mom water, so a literal and metaphorical passing of the mom water torch from a couple of ladies that have children ahead of you down to someone with a new kid. Like, I mean, it flows really nicely, and it's moms lifting other moms up by introducing them to mom water, right?
Yeah.
Supporting others. I like it.
Yeah.
They could basically at this point change it to Hockey Mom Water because it's very popular among the hockey mom crowd.
Kelly, call Spicer Container and Salvage, leave a nasty voicemail. I guess that you would probably pick up, fuck you, I quit. I invented Hockey Mom Water. And then
this is the last you'll ever hear this voice.
So, invented by 9, rich by noon.
Yep. All right.
There you go.
There we go.
Perfect.
Kyle, an honest question. Can you be any more of a panderer to the podcast guests at this point? Tony's on last week and you're like, Central this, Central that. We're having Hockey Moms night and you're like, oh, I love Mom Water. Just once, like, not pander.
Corey, I am an immigrant to this country and I'm doing my best to assimilate one episode at a time.
Yeah. In case you didn't know for sure, Kyle, the reason we're actually going to Canada this weekend is so that you can't get back in our country. Sorry to break it to you.
He already married an American, Corey. It's over.
Yeah, she's in on it too, though.
Yeah.
I've married one from each side of the border, and I've picked my favorite.
That's true. That's true. That's just good planning.
Yeah. When I invited Jess on the show, she told me she had a couple of really good stories to tell. And so, unless this wants to devolve into an Kyle open mic, I think we'll let Jess have the floor.
Oh man. Well, I know that people will be disappointed if I don't share the first day of hockey story. So growing up in a very small town, parents had to be very involved. Otherwise you wouldn't have programs. We didn't have, a ton of resources at Midway. And so parents were very, very active. So I signed up my son for hockey and then I got an email saying, hey, we need volunteer coaches. And I read that as like, I need to do this. Otherwise there won't be a hockey program. So I signed myself up and I show up the first day to coach. But before I walked out of the house, I was like, wait a minute. They said that all coaches have to have a helmet. And thankfully, I had my multi-purpose helmet. So I grabbed this from like behind the front door on the way out. And I was like, okay, I'm ready to go. So I'm picturing it's going to be like me and one other like elderly guy from the YMCA volunteering to coach these kids. I show up and there are like 30 parents. all there to coach. And we get on the ice, and I'm like, uh-oh. The dads start warming up, and they're doing like crossovers. And so I just found the kid that didn't feel the most comfortable on the ice. And I was like, I'm just going to hold this child, and we're going to do the learn to skate stuff. So we did the learn to skate stuff, and that was great for 2 weeks until that child did not need help skating. And then I'm like, now what do I do? So I talked to my husband. I was like, listen, do you think I did my time. Like, do you think I can quit now? And he's like, what kind of message does that send? And I'm like, okay, so I got to stick it out. So when the coaches would, or when the coordinators would email on Monday, like what the practice schedule would be, I would take notes and figure out what station I needed to go to, which required the least amount of skating. Because if one kid, even the wind of them going past me, I'm gone. I'm on the ground. And I only have, my multi-purpose helmet. So it was a very interesting experience, and it was very humbling. I'm happy I stuck it out, and I'm happy I did it. And the helmet stories, they just keep on coming, because after practice and after games, I would forget to take off the helmet. So I'd be driving around Grand Forks with this helmet on, and people would send pictures of me at stoplights, like to my husband. And they're like, is this your wife?
Is she okay?
And yes. And I just like, it's so comfortable. I just forgot to take it off, apparently. So there is a lot of footage of me wearing this helmet. Eventually, somebody was like, let's just go get a helmet. Like, we'll get this figured out. So I ended up upgrading my helmet for year 2. But for the first year, we had the multi-sport helmet. And it was an interesting experience. When you think that you are going to be the savior to save the program, and then you show up and everybody is a million times more talented than you are, it was quite a shock. I'm happy I did it. So like some of my best childhood memories are with my dad coaching me. And so I was a coach's kid growing up, and like that meant that you were held to a higher standard. You couldn't just skip practice if you were tired. Like you had to do a lot, but it was also very rewarding because you got to hang out with your friends. You got to go to all these tournaments, and you got to have family time along with being with all your friends. And so I'm happy I did it. I'm happy that we have the memories that we do have. I did retire for Mite 1. So I did Termite 1 and Termite 2. And we have some wonderful memories for it. I hope that my son can say like, oh, Mom, remember, the good old days when we did this and did that. And I felt like I set a good example by sticking with it. I don't know if I could do it all over, would I do it again? No. But it was an okay experience. It was interesting, but it was also very humbling when you know that you're not getting any better, and everybody's skating circles around you, and the kids are starting to surpass you day by day, and you're just hanging on, trying to make it through another practice.
You're a freaking hero in my eyes, because number one, no guts to do it. One time I offered, my husband was gonna be out of town. My oldest was playing in like a 3-on-3, like scrimmage, like they had this whole like 3-on-3 league type thing. And somebody had texted, oh, we need somebody to be out there for a scorekeeper. And I'm like, and Matt's like, oh, I can't make it. And I'm like, well, I could get him, I could keep scoring. He's like, well, you have to get on the ice. And I'm like, well, I could do that. My oldest hears this. He's like, no, you won't be helping. I'm like, oh, okay. I just, they need somebody. And he's like, no, I won't go if you get on the ice. He's like, so I won't get on the ice if you get on the ice. I'm like, okay, well, that was my one try, and now I'll never try again.
Yeah, that kind of reminds me of when my kids, so my 2 oldest, they played on the same team a lot of times because they were only like 20 some months apart. And we had parents versus the kids. And of course it was all dads, and they were like, and I'm like, oh hell no, I'm playing. I'm like, I am not gonna let the dads be the only ones. I'm playing. And Bo and Hunter are like, seriously, mom, you don't have to play. And I'm like, I know, but I want to because I'm probably gonna be very good. Like I'm gonna be very, very good because I'm athletic, I can do this. So I get out there and oh my God, it's like way harder than I ever imagined. My body didn't move the same way it did when I was like 12.
Not like riding a bike.
No, no. And I was like a try hard, like the only one out there that was like severe try hard. And I did okay, but I literally couldn't walk for like 4 days afterwards. My pulled both my groins. I was just a hot mess.
It's hard to tell on this, but Katie's about 5'1" on a good day,
5'3",
too. So she's not. That's a lie.
And
She's maybe 5'2", maybe with her hair included. So it's like it was probably quite a sight. And I know Bo and Hunter were just dying 1,000 deaths inside. Like it was,
I think
you know,
scored. I think I scored.
All right.
I need to call Bo and Hunter to confirm.
Yeah, but they were besides themselves. They were just like, you know, I was hoping the same thing. Like they'd be like, "Oh, mom, way to go! Like you're so great," and they're like,
"Great, mom.
Don't ever do that again. Don't ever do it again.
Lose our number and don't talk to us in public." So
and that kind of goes with the fights I got into in the stands too.
Yeah,
I've had many fights in the stands.
Yeah, she makes me look calm.
Mm-hmm.
Verbal or physical?
Verbal. One was just about physical.
My brother had to come because it started with Katie, went to my dad, then it almost got physical, then my brother had to show up. It was a whole deal.
My youngest is very physical when he was little, and they called him Wrecking Ball. And so he hit a kid, and he was very strong. Like he was the first year checking, and he's was clean hit. I swear to God, it was a clean hit. And
says his mom.
Says me and grandpa too.
Yeah.
And the lady next to us is like, "Get that cheap ass off the ice." And I'm like, whoa, what did you just say? That's my kid. And I go,
Minot
"Shut your..."
Yeah.
Huh? Am I? No,
Minot?
not mine.
No,
the
she
other
said
one.
wasn't mine out here. What team was it?
I would never say that to you, Katie.
I don't
You
even
had to be
remember.
Marcotte or Moorhead.
When I get in that stage,
Yeah.
It was at the Icon,
yes,
right?
I don't
Yeah.
remember much.
Mm-hmm.
Like I kind of get blurry and forget a lot of detail because I go into a mean trance.
She does.
Yeah, I gotcha.
And so, yeah, it was really bad.
Words were exchanged.
But I was also in Fargo once, and a gal got up and told me to sit down.
That's right.
And she was twice the size of me. And I got up and I said, "Oh, no, you don't know who you're dealing with. You sit down or you're going to be eating grass." It was spring hockey.
Oh, yeah.
Did.
Yeah.
She did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And she's looking at me like, "What? What? You?"
Lady didn't know that she was
What,
addressing someone not quite right.
Right.
She soon found that out.
The eating grass line, I think, is a really nice segue for Corey to jump in on his favorite question ever.
Interesting. Well, we've heard a little bit about it already, but I'll take either answer. And I'll give you a range. What is the worst thing you've heard a fellow hockey mom say during a hockey game? It can be a chirp. It can be something yelled at a player. It could be something yelled at another mom.
Oh,
I have one. It was a mom yelling at her own kids after her own kid after the game. "You guys shit the bed."
Oh.
I respected it a little bit, but like, I mean, I also was
did they in fact shit the bed, Kelly?
yelling at her. I mean, they didn't have a good game, but they were a good team, and she was yelling at her own kid, "You guys shit the bed," and I'm like, that's a little extreme. That's a lot. That is a lot. And the kid is just like hanging his head, like he took it. But yep, that's what she yelled at her own child about their performance. So
yeah, I think I had one. It was not very good. It was we were playing East Grand Forks, and it was at the referee. I told him that he must have a house in East Grand Forks because he sure calls for the East Grand Forks team.
I bet he likes
And
that.
I said it when it was dead quiet, so everybody could hear. And he looked up at me, and I was waiting for him to give me the.
You're out of here,
It would
man.
have been a tremendous opportunity to throw your business card at him.
Yeah, I saw. Yeah,
And if you are buying a house in East Grand Forks,
Call Katie.
Yeah, yeah.
no,
No,
singing.
my people love my dedication and how hard I fight for them.
Yeah.
They do.
Yeah.
If we get chime-ins, I promise you they'd say she's a fighter.
Yeah. Yes, they would.
What's the meanest thing you heard at Termite One, Jess?
This is where I'm a rookie because I don't have good stories when it comes to this. Like I'm trying to think of
they're
the
coming.
meanest
They're
thing.
coming.
Like, oh yeah, they're coming for sure. But I'm trying to think of like anything that's been awful, and either I'm zoning out, or
No, just
or
wait.
it
As
just
they get
hasn't
older,
been said yet.
it gets worse and worse and worse. Like
Right.
you know, everybody's still pretty positive at the church. Not that you don't get people that are a little overboard at the termite and mite level, because there are. In particular, that end of the year tournament usually brings out the ugly in people.
Oh yeah, when they start keeping score.
Yes, that gets ugly. But it gets worse as they get older. I mean, and then you know, Katie's son played well, two of them, the ones that are still currently playing at Concordia, both play junior hockey, and junior hockey is like ridiculous because then you don't just have parents, it's like drunken crowd members are also insulting your children. So it really takes a turn in juniors. So
Yeah,
And
it's very
for
hard to
me,
watch.
I'm like, I call myself like a hockey ding dong because half the time I don't know what's going on. And my son, he was doing something in a scrimmage, and I kept on saying to myself, like, oh, wow, he just set a really good screen. And then he did it again. I'm like, oh, he set a really good screen there. And then a parent message, like, she was telling me, she's like, okay, so those aren't screens. Like when you're bear hugging like that, it's holding. And I was like, oh, here the entire time. I'm like, good job, buddy. Like, I'm thinking like a nice basketball screen, like getting in the way. Like you can put a little bit of hands, but nothing
that's
too
actually
much.
a penalty.
Right. Yes. And so this happened a few times, and I'm just sitting there like, let's go, buddy. And thankfully it was a friend of mine. She's like, yeah, so that's called holding.
That's it.
So
Yeah.
my ding dong self, like there could be stuff and I could not be picking up on it too.
You're doing amazing, sweetie.
Yeah. No, yeah. Wait till somebody hits your kid though. Like I'm that mom that will go get up and get him. Go get him. Like seriously, like go after him, hit him back.
Yeah.
They won't do it again if you get him good.
Yeah.
I mean, I know that's awful.
No,
Like it's so awful, but in the heat of the moment when your kid is getting hit, I probably would have. Nah, I'm not gonna.
Katie, we were in World one time for extended season, and someone was bothering Jet, and I was standing by Kelly, and she said, "Leave him alone. His mom is crazy."
That's yeah. I wanted to just put that out there. I was giving it fair warning. You weren't going to deal with a mentally stable individual. Okay, some people are. Some people are just not killing the mental health game, and there's those of us that are not too proud to admit it. Okay, so
light version, dark version.
Right. That is true though. Is that I'm more mouth and she's more muscle. So I'll threaten, she'll act. So
like it.
yeah, no, it is hard though. As they get old, I'm not prepared. Like, I know Bantams is going to be tough because that's when hitting starts, and I'm just like praying to God, like let Jet go into puberty because I'm not going to be. If he's still a little guy and somebody creams him, I'm not going to be able to handle it. I'm just not going to be able to. So,
yeah. I'll never forget Hunter's first fight on TV, and I was at home, and Hunter wasn't a big fighter. Like he wasn't ever a big physical fighter in hockey ever. He's just very smart. He never took the penalty. Like he was always so proud of that kid. And
this was in juniors.
This was in juniors. He was playing for the Minot Minotaurs, right?
Yeah.
Minotaurs, whatever. I don't get the name. I had so many hockey games and places. I just go with what I hear. And
it's a Minot name. They're forcing an extra syllable where it doesn't belong. So don't worry.
Exactly. So I didn't go by those rules, but all of a sudden he came out of the nowhere and like locker box this kid, and I'm like, oh my God, like I was just shocked. My baby, like he doesn't do that, like he's not. And he was so proud. Everybody was so proud of him, and I'm like, he's just lucky he didn't get hurt.
Yeah. He's a child that barely talks.
Yeah.
So we did not see it coming.
And it was crazy. I think I still go back and watch the video because I recorded it.
Yeah.
The days are ahead, I'm sure.
Oh, it's so fun.
At some point, I have a cousin who spent most of the 80s with a VCR recording hockey fights off of TV news in Canada. And I'd really like to know what happened to all those tapes, because I think that's a real gold mine.
They'd be worth money now.
Oh yeah. Back when they could all fight. Yeah. I'm going to kick it back to Corey for a second, who had a really impressive battery of questions, and I'd like to get through them.
Yeah, well, I'm going to start with this, Katie. So, how do you feel about the rumors that this is actually just Kelly's podcast? No one else.
Oh, it probably.
It's not a rumor, Corey.
I think it is. I don't know.
Tanner Swanson said it. Okay, he's a Marine, Corey.
He's
Well,
the representative of the government.
Kelly is
Wow.
very talkative, and she kind of stands out. I mean, you guys are great, but she like stands out. So you'd think that she was like the lead of it.
Right. You would think I was the knowledge part. It's not. It's these two, but I just fake it till I make it. So
This
Yeah,
started-
I
this started to
thought it
feel
was
like-
yours too.
thank you.
I thought it was Kelly's too.
Yeah. I mean,
This is
it's gaining momentum now.
This is starting to feel like every time I go somewhere without my wife, when everyone just says, "Hey, where's Jess? Where's Jess? Where's Jess?" I'm not around. Not a single person asks where Corey is to Jess. They're just like,
Where's that guy? That guy you're always with.
No.
Starts with the C.
the guy that you obviously married, not for money. Hang on, I'm trying to work this out. I got nothing.
Nothing.
No.
No.
The only thing I can offer my spouse is complete and utter dependence. That's it. Like that's the only thing I can offer to her.
Everybody's going to
wonderful.
get something.
Exactly.
So to go along the same thread, I'm starting to get really nervous because when I was introduced to the Spicer clan, right, was when my oldest boy Cam was coached by Johnny and Peter and Tommy, and I was told, "Do not mess with these guys. Like they're just not people that you mess with." And I met them, and I was like, "You guys are totally wrong. These people are awesome. They're super nice." And then I met the women of life, and I'm like, now I understand. You don't screw with the women.
It's the back to the mental illness thing, Corey. All right. Yeah. I mean, sometimes that's what happens. You're probably exactly right.
We make good hockey players, so
Yeah,
I mean,
you do.
a little bit crazy.
Well, nuts. Yeah.
Yeah.
My son plays with Diggs, and I swear to God, Diggs can't do anything but put pucks in the back of the net. It's great.
Yeah. He's such a fun kid. He's a great kid.
Yeah. Fun to
Okay,
watch.
so
Yeah.
serious questions, because Kyle said I had to ask somewhat serious questions. All right, I'll start with Katie again, but then I'm going to switch to Jess. Who should be in charge of watching the kids at a hockey weekend hotel pool? Is it the mom's job or the dad's job?
I would say the dads until a little bit later, and then it won't work for them because they're too intoxicated. So then the moms have to take over.
Fair. Jess, same question.
I am going to have to agree. I feel like dads can put up with that echoing pool noise better.
Yeah.
Like I will lose my mind if I hear 20 kids yelling in the water, like in the pool. It's too much in the actual pool room. So dads can have that, and then there can be a swap later.
Yeah.
Jess, honest question, Jess. Did you or did you not purchase that multi-sport helmet from a Safe Kid school sale for bike helmets?
You are correct.
Yes.
And I actually
Good eye.
emailed them yesterday. I emailed them yesterday because I'm like, I know that Karma's gonna like find me, and she's gonna be like, that is not safe for ice hockey. And so I emailed them. They haven't responded yet. So I do not think that you should follow what I'm doing. But yes, it is a Safe Kids multi-sport helmet for $12.
Multi-sport excluding ice
Yeah.
hockey.
Yeah.
I think it does exclude ice hockey. Yes.
Well, I just want full disclosure that do not do anything I did. Like that is not advisable. It's just something I did. And I don't think anybody should ever act like I did at hockey games.
No, I disagree. It's hockey, not tennis. So that adds to the charm of the game. I don't want it to get like civilized. I don't want that. I like the unruliness. This ain't no tennis match.
I just disclosure. I just
Yeah.
want disclosure. Don't do
Yeah.
what I do. But if you do, I'll be right beside you. And
It's
But
just a
don't
feeling.
do
Just
it.
throwing it out there, Kelly. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
When things
Yeah.
go south later on, we can refer back to this, and then Katie walks out scot-free.
But that's the difference though between like when you're with the moms and with the dads. Like the dads are like criticizing their own kids, like, oh, did you see him do that? And then the moms are like, he's amazing. He's so good. He doesn't do anything wrong. He invented hockey and I love him so much.
And after every game, I call my boys and I'm like, great game. You guys played wonderful. And they're like, no, mom, I played like shit. I'm like, no, you didn't. You looked amazing out there. And they're
so good.
What game were you watching, mom? I'm like, I thought you looked great. Like you were the best one out there. But I kind of only watched him. So like, yeah.
Okay, so as Kelly has pointed out before, there's often different mom attire in hockey rinks, depending on the days, first day of the tournament, last day of the tournament. But has there ever been a time where you've seen someone come dressed inappropriately for hockey, and what does that look like? Like, what's too dressed up for hockey? I'm not going to say there's a such thing as not dressed up enough because it's hockey. So let's just stick with what's too dressed up for hockey. Katie, I'll start with you.
Too dressed up. I think like I when all the moms on a team wear the same thing, that's inappropriate. That's
I love that.
disturbing. And I had to when my kids went to the state tournament. This is how much away from that I am. We all had to wear a kid's jersey, and I was okay with it because it was like the last roll, blah blah blah. But I even felt awkward then because we're all standing in a group in jerseys, the same jersey. And I'm like, this kind of, I just not
probably all smelled terrible.
Yeah, we stunk.
Yeah.
It was rotten. It was like we stunk just like a butthole. All
there's no
horrible.
There's no getting that stink out either.
No.
That hockey stink is a specific stink and it doesn't come out and it just reeks.
Yeah. But I think, I think attire is fine. Like if you want to dress up for the game, great. But most times casual clothes. But dressing alike as moms is disgusting.
It's a lot.
Awesome.
It's extra.
It's too extra.
Jess, you haven't reached this stage of hockey travel, I don't think, based on your kids' age, but can you project something in your mind that's maybe too much?
So I try to give people the benefit of the doubt. There was a tournament in Fargo and like 2 Fargo dads showed up dressed to the nines. And I was like, you know what? Maybe they just got out of court. Maybe it's a bad divorce. They're like,
Came out of court.
It's their parenting time now. Like, I don't know. So like, did I think it's weird that somebody's in a suit at a hockey game and isn't a coach and isn't a player? Yeah. But I'm like, who knows? Maybe they're the governor. I have no idea.
I throw when they walk in with cowbells and stuff.
Oh,
I just know it's going to be a rough game.
hallmark of a Canadian team.
Oh,
Cowbells in Canada, man.
Yep.
I'm gonna bring cowbells.
They love that.
That's legal in hockey. You can have cowbells, like in basketball.
Oh yes, you can. You can, and you want to leave.
And what makes those compressor things that go like they
air horns.
Air horns. They did those too. And
I have to pull up my Amazon so I can order a few.
Oh yeah.
Multi-case air horn.
Well pack.
Your kid.
Now that I know it's an option, I didn't know what my options were.
Yeah, no.
Yep. You can always, hey, listen, there's always a level up for obnoxious. All right. And hockey parents find the level.
Hey,
And it
My
was
son
mostly Canadian teams that did that.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna like the Tuxedo Lightning or whatever those guys were. Like they
Yeah.
were horrible. Yeah, they'd come and they'd all have their horns and their bells and our kids couldn't even skate because they threw them off with all that noise. So
Yeah.
I defended my kid when we lost to them and said
It was the parents' fault.
Yeah.
They weren't more
When you
talented
say-
than us.
When you say tuxedo, do you mean an actual tuxedo or do you mean the
No,
No,
Canadian
they're a
tuxedo?
team.
It's a
Actually,
neighborhood in
my-
Winnipeg.
So my
Oh.
son Bo played against the Tuxedo, and I think a really good hockey player. I think he might play for Vancouver now, Canucks. His name was Jet Wu,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
Bo
Carmen.
played against him, and they were a horrible like Canadian team that like just was obnoxious. And I came home, and Kelly hadn't had Jet yet, and I said, Kelly, if you have a child, the best name on the announcer was scoring for Tuxedo Jet Woo, and I'm like, I love that name.
Do you know what
So
Jet Woo's dad's name is?
No.
Larry.
Larry Woo.
Doesn't have the
Larry.
same ring at all.
Woo!
Larry Woo.
Actually,
yeah,
a
but
pretty
when I
nice
saw
guy.
him up for the draft, I was like, oh my gosh, we played that kid. So
Yeah. He plays in Utica now.
yeah, but was he for Vancouver? Didn't Vancouver?
He was he's like a Vancouver second rounder. He played in Moose Jaw for a while in the WHL. Nice kid. His dad's like was a consultant for the WHL team in Winnipeg, and his little brother, I think, is better, and I can't remember his name. I'll look it up.
What was his last name? Woo.
Also Woo.
Woo.
You know?
Okay.
Unless he had a different dad.
It's Canada. You don't
Yeah.
know. It could be
Yeah.
the dad, it could be
Totally
the neighbor.
possible.
It could be a thruple. Nobody knows. I'm sorry, Larry. You're still a nice guy. Assuming you
Yeah, his kid, he was great when he was 7.
he was a good player all the way through.
Yeah. But his name like sounded so amazing on the announcing. I was like,
Yeah.
and I told her, I'm like, that's a great name.
Now we got Jet Moreland.
Yeah.
Yeah. Jess, who is your favorite obscure Winnipeg hockey player? Now, I need an answer now.
Immediately.
How did you play
Crap.
hockey?
Yeah, I'm not from Winnipeg though, so
Oh, okay, then I'm out of
Yes.
options.
Yeah.
oh yeah,
You know,
that's
Don't
coming.
worry. If you make up a name, our listeners don't have any idea what happens in Canada. So just throw a name out there. You can call a person Labatt Blues your favorite player. It doesn't matter.
He's my favorite.
And we'll just agree. We'll be like, I like him too. He's good.
Chet
Labatt's
Reynolds
fantastic.
is my favorite.
Great backhand. Mean streak that you wouldn't believe. This whole thing of getting angry at parents and telling them or not sounds like a fun opportunity I had this season. My oldest boy, who's a Bantam, had a game where he had a couple pretty good checks, and this dad was just fuming about these checks. And he goes, "I'm going to find that kid's dad." And I looked right at him and I said, "I'm going to tell you right now, you don't want to mess with that kid's dad. He's 6'6", 240. Just leave him alone. Just trust me on this one." The guy's like, "Oh,
You don't
okay."
want to.
Yeah,
Thanks, buddy.
I know that kid's dad.
yeah.
He just got out of prison.
Yeah, you just don't want to mess with that dude. He's crazy, crazy big
Crazy
too.
person.
By no means is he 5'9", very slight and couldn't hold his
Attorney.
own with a wet paper bag.
Kind of a book smart guy.
you know, he does. He's not a fighter, but no, this guy's dad, huge dude. Leave him alone.
Yeah. Crazy.
Too
Oh.
funny.
Yes, do you know Corey hasn't brought it up organically yet, but do you know who Corey's neighbor is?
No.
Eric Fabian.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Eric's a nice
Next door
guy.
neighbor. Yeah.
Corey, I just want to steal your thunder there.
Thanks. It's not bad enough that people only refer to me when my wife's around. Now I got to be. Oh yeah, and that's Eric Fabian's name.
Jess
Eric
is
Fabian's
husband.
name, right? Don't they
Eric
share
Fabian's neighbor.
an outdoor ring?
Yeah. That's Corey. I've heard. No, don't know who that is.
Yeah.
Is he this guy's dad who's like 240 and like 6'6"?
Yes. Yes. And he lives next to Eric Fabian.
Next to Eric.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There we go.
Claim to fame.
Oh,
Well, I'm Bailey's mom, so
That is true.
Yeah.
Bailey's a local celebrity. So Katie's always referred to as Bailey's mom.
Aren't
She
you
certainly is.
Bailey's
And then,
mom?
this is a little bit of gotcha journalism, Katie, but why will Bailey not follow us back on Instagram?
Oh, I don't know.
Bailey.
Bailey?
What the hell?
Oh,
She's doing it right now.
perfect. I've been waiting.
I don't think she understood the whole concept.
She's like Beyonce. Like Beyonce won't follow anyone. Everyone follows her. Bailey is the Beyonce of Grand Forks.
Understood.
Mhm.
So, everybody wants her to follow. She
Yeah.
doesn't follow.
Okay.
That's
Okay,
how it
that's
is.
good.
So
this.
Good.
she
I'm
just
sorry.
did. She decided to come down off her high horse.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, hey, I just saw it come up. That's tremendous. Big night. Big night.
Yes.
for
Say-
community.
Say, Jess, are you familiar with the phrase dessert adultery?
No.
No. Okay.
No.
Katie,
You
have you
need
ever
to
heard about
read
dessert
North
adultery?
Dakota Nice.
No.
Okay, so there's a blog that's run by the better half of Kyle's life that talks about certain things in North Dakota that are nice. And this week's blog posting was about dessert adultery. Kyle, I'm going to let you explain it so you can take this one away.
So in the summer, I played on a volleyball team with Kelly, and then we strong-armed a lady named Jen Litzinger into playing volleyball with us.
We really did.
Really did. We just it was almost really not almost. It was full on bullying. We just kept spamming her until she agreed to show up and play. It came out in the course of a pre or post game conversation, which is the same deal. It's just too much Busch Light before or after we play. That Amanda, my wife, does not like to make dessert, and she does not like warm fruit desserts. And Jen Litzinger said, "Oh, I make a mean apple crisp." So I just like kind of bothered her. And finally, she just showed up at my house. She texted Amanda first and said, "I'm going to bring your husband an apple crisp," and it was really the best day of my life.
Right.
Not the birth of his
Our
children.
apple crisp
Adultery.
delivered to your door. 2 marriages,
And then-
2 kids, apple crisp, way of them.
And that was the day things were never good between the Koziers and the Litzingers again.
No, it's still
Been
fine.
weird ever since.
Yep.
No,
That was the day.
it's tremendous because Jen just texted me. She has a new dessert she's going to make and bring over. So it's great.
That's wonderful.
And so I sort of coined the idea of dessert adultery, where you just pick out one of your friends' wives, I guess, or girlfriends or whatnot, that has a dessert you want, and they make you periodically the dessert. There's no texting, there's no funny business, there's no winks, there's no touching, but they just bring you dessert, and that's the end of the transaction. And I really think I'm onto something here.
I really think I think Matt
Yeah.
would be 100% into that relationship.
Right.
My dad,
as well.
he would seek out that relationship with someone. You know what? I think he would seek it out with our sister Anne.
Yeah. Here's the deal. Like I don't cook much at
Yeah.
all. I work.
That's
So I don't cook and
Sure.
it's
Yeah,
a need that
anybody
someone else
out
could
there-
fulfill for Mike.
yeah, anybody out there wants to do that with my
It's
husband.
like
they're
some
more
sister
than
wife stuff.
welcome
Yeah.
to.
Right? Yeah.
So,
Like, I
I
don't
mean-
really have to answer questions about Great British Bake Off without her actually making stuff from Great British Bake Off. I don't need another person to do that with. I just need a very clinical transaction of somebody bringing dessert to my door.
Just show up.
I like that.
Yeah.
So
That's
Katie and Kelly,
perfect.
I can hear that neither of you have a problem with dessert adultery.
No,
No.
gosh, no. That's a need that someone else can fill for Matt.
I'd like to have it too.
Yeah.
So
Oh,
But
that-
it's
yeah.
both ways. Again, this is not, yeah.
Jen started something though, because now I'm gonna be like, Jen, what the hell? Matt also likes dessert that I'm not interested in making for him.
And
I
she knows
I
Mike
already
too.
called. Listen, I've said it in private, and I'm saying it in public now. I already called dibs on Jen Litzinger's dessert.
Okay, all right. I guess
That can.
that's understandable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are there any other ladies out there that like to make dessert?
I think we have to rely on Annie because it's
I
I'm not doing
don't want to step on Corey's toes, but Jess Irian makes a mean apple pie.
See, and that's
Oh,
where
that's-
I was going with this.
Yeah. Oh,
Because
sorry, Corey.
or he doesn't have to stray outside of his marriage for dessert.
no, and this could be a problem for me. Whereas I'm happy to let Kyle try the apple crisp, but if I would decide to try another woman's apple crisp, my spouse would not be okay with this, and especially dare I tell someone that it's better than hers.
Because she's good at it. When you're
She
not
loves
good at
cookies
it,
or-
you're okay with it.
Cookies
I'm not
what
good
Jess
at
does
it.
relieves stress.
I can
I-
make really good chocolate chip cookies.
Well, there you go.
They're
Hey.
really, really good, but that's it.
Jess, would you
221
allow
Whitworth
another person to make
Avenue,
dessert?
my address.
Too many of you at once.
Jess, what's your go-to dessert?
I can make just about anything. I can cook just about anything. Like
She's a
very
candidate.
talented as long as I can pick it up from Sam's Club
Got it.
Right.
and drop it off somewhere else.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
For a second, I
That's
thought you
what
were
I'm-
just showing off.
That's how I
No.
feel. I volunteered to make bars for our tournament this weekend, and I already purchased cookies at Sam's Club, and that's what I'm bringing. Why I said it, I don't know. I guess I got squirrely on the group meet. I don't know why I even threw the offer out there.
It's not
But
worth the stress.
I purchased a delightful 18 pack of chocolate chunk cookies from Sam's Club, and I think that's going to fill the void. So that's all I got. So
Maybe next tournament, no matter what age group, maybe perhaps we can host an event. I'll put a big bowl in the middle. All the moms can come throw their dessert in a bowl. Dad's leaving. It's like, hey, pumpkin bars, you're with me. Let's go. Something too weird, too far?
No, but
No,
Jess
but-
hasn't said whether she agrees with this as someone
Oh
who
my God.
purchases bakery.
I'm just taking notes so I know what to be expecting in our later years of hockey.
Yes, we really threw you into
I didn't know
the
any of
hockey
this
mom
talk.
stuff. Yeah.
gets weird, Jess.
Can I ask a question?
Go
Oh,
ahead. Fire away.
I raised my hand, but so like we're done with the hockey thing, but like my husband would really be up for joining your hockey.
He would be interested in that the
Oh,
dessert
yeah.
party.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Listen, despite the fact that I'm going to credit myself as the inventor of dessert adultery, I think it's for everybody, right? I think it's
I do
healthy.
too.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I do too. I think that, monogamy is hard.
and it's giving
Dessert
somebody a way
monogamy.
to live on the wild side.
She meant
Right.
dessert monogamy.
Right. Like
Yeah.
I said, I am not willing to change myself for that. So if there's someone that can fill that void for Matt, I'm totally fine with
Yeah.
that. I can totally live with that, with dessert adultery.
Yeah, me too. Because here's the deal. This will sum up me cooking. So my sister Anne, who cooks amazing
Yes.
dessert, meals, everything. She came
And have a
over.
number?
She sure does.
I'll get it for you.
Yeah.
She came over after I remodeled my kitchen, and I have 3 ovens. And she goes, "That's the best thing ever. You can make 3 frozen pizzas at a time."
It's wild.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. She goes, "It's so exciting that you have so many ovens because you don't even cook."
It's a good point. Solid point.
But it is for like if like the kids are here and they want to make their own pizza.
Also a good point.
Yeah.
Also a good
Yeah.
point. Speaking of good points, Corey, have you heard about any good construction services companies
I've
in town?
I've heard of one really good one, Endries Construction Services. They have 20 years of experience in all areas of construction. Projects worked on include banks, oral surgeries, offices, dental offices, schools, retail space, auto body shops, you name it, they can build it. They offer assistance with all phases of construction, from the initial design phase all the way through completion. You dream it, they make it a reality. If you want your next construction project to be a breeze, call the folks at Endries.
Really, really nicely done. Jess, how is your Canadian geography?
Oh, not great at all.
Oh, okay. Are you familiar with any provinces that are shaped like a long rectangle?
Manitoba?
Oh, Jess, so close. Right next door.
That is a province in Canada, right? Though Manitoba, I think
Yeah.
I've heard of it.
Its tagline is easy to draw, hard to pronounce.
Saskatchewan?
That was pretty good. I was going somewhere with this, which was we like to ask all our guests to pronounce the word that you just said, and then I can judge them on the number of syllables that they use. And you did really well.
Oh, I'm gonna be
Oh.
bad.
Wait, did I get it right?
Saskatchewan.
I think you did really well.
Oh,
Yeah.
I think he did better towards the right side than the wrong side. I heard lots of syllables. It was done well.
You say it, Kelly.
I can't because I know how to say it correctly.
Say
yeah,
it.
so
Say
I
it so
I
I
could
can-
drop Kelly at Casino Regina and she'd be accepted as a local in 5 minutes.
That's right. I have every intention of getting a shirt. It's my favorite city, Regina. It's the city that rhymes with fun.
Oh, that's what Regina. That's what this.
No,
he was
no.
talking about Saskatchewan. He was talking about Regina.
She just said it wrong.
You
It's
just- yeah.
It's
You did
Saskatchewan,
not.
guys.
I say everything wrong though.
Saskatchewan.
So it's not, I'm not
Yeah.
surprised.
Yeah.
I would blend in with the local swallows.
Easily, yeah.
Yeah.
Easily.
What is it again?
Saskatchewan.
It's missing. That's
It's not.
Well, that's what you think.
It's not how it looks.
That's correct. It's
Okay, let's say
supposed to be like a
Sakakawea.
province.
How do you say Sakakawea?
Sacagawea.
Kind of the same thing.
Well,
Yeah.
Matt lived in Prescott Valley, which looks like Prescott
Prescott,
Valley,
right,
but
yeah.
the locals will tell you that's incorrect. It's Prescott Valley.
Yeah.
That's in Arizona.
This is nothing if not really a public service type of podcast.
Right.
Yeah. Well, I don't
So you go up
understand.
to so you go to Saskatchewan and don't feel like a fool.
Right. Yeah, really well done. It's so natural now, Kelly.
Well, I
Why
come by it
would we-
honestly though, because my mother calls guacamole guacamole. So
Right. We're really good at the
Local
Yeah.
dialect.
pronunciation.
Yeah.
yeah. So I mean, it's just I was born that way,
Yeah, you were.
and you didn't get that change.
I don't understand why we would trust people from Saskatchewan to tell us what the pronunciation of the word is. That'd be like trusting people from Minot to say that no, our city isn't a garbage town. It's actually a real good place.
Oh,
Exactly.
hey,
We've
another
been there.
good-
We've seen it. It is.
It's another good segue. Jess, would you like to take this opportunity to say something mean about Minot? You can pass, or you can just go for it.
This is gonna sound just awful.
Oh no,
Oh, do
we're
it.
ready. We're all ready.
That's exactly. She just did it. She
Do it.
just
Do
described
it.
Minot. This is gonna sound awful.
I think they only have one Starbucks building and it takes forever to get a drink.
Yeah, I've been in that drive-through. It's awful.
Yes. Hard to
is.
get
That's-
into that drive-through as well.
Yeah.
Garbage.
It's on. Is it Broadway or
It's on a
Uh,
really busy corner.
yeah, right off
Just
of
to the mall,
Broadway,
right?
I think.
by
I'm
Longhorn.
kind of surprised they have a Starbucks, to be honest with you. And I know that's probably going to like spark outrage where people in mine are going to be like, of course we have a Starbucks, but I'm actually surprised that they have one.
Well, I stayed in Minot just last year, and it was awful.
That's
They had
true.
a drive-by shooting, and they had somebody bust through the barricade at Special Olympics, and I'm like, I just don't like this town.
Lots on
Scary.
there.
Yeah, it's just a hot mess there. Who's from Minot? Why are we?
No, we don't like the Minot parents. They're nasty.
Oh,
And we have to reinforce that because they're coming up and thinking that they're hot shit. And so we like to keep them right in their
Minot's
place.
never had really good teams.
Their youth team is good.
Yeah.
I didn't say that.
They'll
Yeah.
phase out.
No.
I didn't say that.
But you'll learn the good
You'll learn.
players when they're really young are not as great as they get. That once
That's-
their
that's true,
balls
too.
drop, that's when you know who's a good player.
Scott Dakota said it best. Testosterone comes in and changes the game.
Yeah.
Right.
So
So we had really, really good players when they were little. Like my kids were good the whole time. They were.
of course.
But there were these
Now it is a mom hockey broadcast today. Let's remember that.
Of course they were.
yes, but we had these kids and the coaches just loved them, played them all the time. And then my kids' balls dropped and they outdid them by far 10 times. It was so much fun.
Yeah.
So yeah. So if you think, I know Jet's really good and Mace is really good, so I'm sure they'll always be good like my kids.
No, clearly
But-
they're peaked.
Right.
One of the things, Jess, I'm just going to segue very briefly. We talked about when moms come up is a thing that Kelly is a part of it. I'm sure Katie probably had her own version. It was called Mom Island. So the little area where moms sit at games.
I didn't.
You've been involved in tournaments and also in termites and mites. Sometimes I see where you sit, so I'm not going to jump the gun here. What is your ideal seating situation at a hockey game? Family, mom, by yourself?
I like to be by myself. I gasped to myself a lot and
Okay.
I just like hold my breath and I pause. And so I do like to be by myself. I I'm afraid of, like, if I was around other people and I could hear what they were saying, I feel like my feelings would be hurt. So I have to stick
That's
to my
so
little
true.
corner.
Yeah,
And
I had to sit in the corner too because my dad
Yeah.
would sit next to me and he'd critique everybody else's kid. And all the moms were like around me, and I'd be like, Dad, shh, that's their mother right there. Please be quiet. You know, like I want to keep life on my team here. And so I've just gravitated away from everybody. And now my dad's not here. So I always sit away from but if you're away from the crowd, you probably will stay away from the crowd.
there was a
I'm
tournament.
gonna grab my cord.
There was a tournament where I was watching from live barn at home, couldn't go to the game, and I could hear our parent group. The microphone was right next to them. And I was a good friend. And I messaged the parents I could hear. And I said, just so you know, there's a hot mic behind you.
Oh, that's
So they
awesome.
didn't say anything. It would have been entertaining if I would have told them, but you could hear everything. And I know that those are recorded too. So I'm like, oh, I would want to know if I were them.
That's you're almost too nice for this podcast, Jess.
No, I'm not nice all the time.
It'll change.
Like, just I feel like you're bringing out the best in me with these questions.
Okay, well that's Corey's fault.
What can I say? It's my first date.
Yeah.
Right. Was Kelly's podcast, but
Yeah.
you guys are co-hosts.
Interns, I guess.
I don't think I've ever been considered something that high on the pecking order.
Diversity hires an immigrant to the country, so I guess I fit in somewhere.
We're moving. Kelly didn't charge her computer, so
I describe myself as a hot mess. Okay, I don't have to defend myself.
When Kelly is
don't worry, it makes a great YouTube.
Yeah.
Despite
Somebody's
now
gonna
that
get
we're
motion
video
sick
podcasts, I like that we
watching.
have the visuals, you know. Now that Kelly's settled again, you guys want to take a brief pause for a vote on whether or not we should make all guests wear a helmet?
I like it.
I'm super into the look,
I
Jess.
do like it.
It's tremendous.
It is tremendous. And it's, like I said, it's a level of commitment that I applaud.
Yeah. And if your kids are proud of you for it, like they love you more than my kids ever loved me.
My kids only love me when I have a wallet. Like if I don't have my wallet on me, my kids could care less who I am.
That's the ticket.
Yeah.
The first practice, I knew that we'd be assigned like coaching groups eventually. And there was this dad, and he looked like a great skater, like had a good shot. Seemed super, super serious. And I was like, oh dear God, please do not put me on his team, because what if he like asks me a question and I don't know the answer? Like, I was paranoid that I was going to be paired with this guy because he just seemed so serious. Paired with him not 1 year, but 2 years, and the nicest person. Like, I couldn't, the 2 years of coaching, we had the same coaching group the first year and the second. One of them was a Spicer, actually. Yeah. And
they're a little crazy, but nice.
Yeah, couldn't have asked for better co-coaches. Like, would do that all over again. But man, was I sweating the first few practices before I actually got to know the other coaches. I'm like, oh boy, not sure what I signed up for.
Yeah.
See, you guys both said that you sit alone, but I'm a Mom Island advocate, because like this is like second high school for me. I love the mom friends. Like I love my mom.
You're also a cheerleader.
That is true. I was a cheerleader. So, and in college I was a cheerleader. So I adore my mom friends. Like this is this is heaven.
But like I couldn't sit with him because Dad would wreck it. Like I wouldn't have any friends if they heard what he said.
Yeah, I mean, but I will have to say, like, I think I very much lucked out in the mom friend group, because like super positive, never negative. You don't have, I've nobody ever, very uplifting. No one says anything bad about their kids, or anybody else's kids. Like I said, we leave it to the dads, but the dads only ever pick on their own kids. So, it's fine. But, yeah, no, I am loving this this time in life of getting friends again. Like it's been wonderful.
Yeah.
Makes the fact like the 4.5-hour car ride that I have to do tomorrow on ice, which we all know I don't like. It makes it well worth it to get to go and hang out with my mom gals. So
Yeah, I was like her only friend before hockey.
that's true. We're casino buddies, and that's an unbreakable.
Yeah, we might talk about that.
Kelly, you'll be happy and or sad to know that Amanda and I tried to do pull tabs at lunch today, only to be turned away because they weren't ready for us yet. So it's garbage.
It's ridiculous.
It is.
What time do you eat at 10:30?
No, it was at noon. They
We're
were
not open yet,
ready.
sir.
Yeah. Terrible. The tournament that we're playing at this weekend, only 3 moms will be attending. Oh, Corey was done with us, I guess. And Amanda's trepidatious about it because it's like that's a lot of dads and only 3 moms. So I think that part of the reason we want to do the show as well is to highlight the fact that it's good to have moms that can stick together, because that's a lot of that's a big numerical imbalance.
I was very proud of our coaches this weekend because Friday night we were at a Moorhead tournament.
Yeah.
And when we got there's always the parent drinking in the lobby. That has to happen. So our 2 coaches are both not dads, Derek and Brock.
Yeah.
And they found themselves in the lobby with all moms, and they still sat
good for
and
them.
had drinks and watched the Sioux game with all of the moms, which I really thought was sweet because, that's a challenging thing. And Brock is young. He's like 26. So, but they were wonderful. They hung in, they humored the moms. They're just smart because now they have like these allegiant people in their corner that will always back them up. So I thought that was very commendable of our 2 male coaches that they sat in the mom group, had beers, and were entertaining. So it was great.
That's actually a nice little segue for one of the other questions, maybe the final question Corey wanted to ask. I think he wanted to get into some hotel etiquette, hotel potlucks, and all things hotel. Especially with Jess.
I'm sorry, what did you say, Kyle?
I said, especially with Jess just starting out in this endeavor.
Well, and that's always the question, right? So you're at the hotel, you're having a potluck. What do you bring? Like, the team doesn't want to have a meal. A lot of times you eat out. Finally, everyone wants to bring the potluck. What are you going to bring and why? Especially if there's some of us that don't cook.
I bring a case of water.
No, it's exciting.
And so I had 3 going at one time, and it seemed like everybody had the damn potluck on the same weekend. And of course I'd send them, but I'd still have to send them with something. I'm like, I'll just send like as many cases of water as you need, because I don't cook and I'm not making bars. So, or spaghetti, and some moms did a ton, like taco meat, and they'd come and they'd like unload the back of their car, and I'm like, what? Like, that's not me.
No.
Is it you?
No, I have said I'm a self-proclaimed hot mess mom. And hero moms are my bread and butter. Like, I love them. They are, I love their existence. I'm happy for like the moms that come in and they're like, I did taco meat, and then I did queso, and then I actually did 3 different parts. And I'm like, you're amazing. And so I applaud those moms. I just am not one of them. I think I have brought queso before, but that was, I think I scorched it. So it didn't even work out. Like, and so that's why I don't try.
I had moms that would like, be like, well, Kitty's either going to bring a case of water, or we have to like help her out and bring. I was kind of a single mom though, for a while. So like they were all so good to me, and they're like, I remember Kelly Tannehill. She was so amazing. She's only had 1 kid. She had a husband, and she's like, I got you. And I'm like, I fucking love you. I love you.
You're my woman.
Yes. So she's like, I got those. You figure out hunters, and then somebody will get Colton. And I'm like, that's why I love being a hockey parent.
Well, and Jess, you're going to get it though, because we're coming up on my 2 extended season here. So you're going to get you're gonna get the experience. So because I think we go to War Road if nothing has changed.
It might be local.
Oh.
We're just Mite 1 this year. So it will be next
Oh, I
year.
thought you guys were Mite 2.
No, just Mite 1. So I think we travel over to East Grand Forks.
Yeah.
Nice.
It'll be the coldest day of the year.
Yes.
Yeah.
It really will. And you'll be in the blue line.
Yeah. And
Oh.
please, yeah.
But if I have to bring anything, I think that there's like a 30 pack from Taco Bell, and I would probably like re-display it in like something that I own. So
That's
it
a
would look
great
like I
idea.
made it. Right. But then
And kids
if like
love
everybody
Taco Bell.
gets,
Yeah.
well, yeah, it's great until the whole team gets the shits, and then they all point to me like, what was in the
everyone had
what was-
diarrhea today?
What was your recipe? And I'm like,
This was Jude's mom.
Next on the menu, hot
one with
chips.
the helmet.
You guys, we are not gonna let Jess Gowan bring something again.
Nobody
Yeah.
tell her when it's that time.
Oh, I love it. Jess, you can always sit with me. Okay. I can already tell you from this.
Thank you.
You are my person. You are my we will get along fantastic. So you sit
Perfect.
with me.
Yeah,
Deal.
that's so funny.
One of the reasons I knew that Jess sometimes stands alone is I'll be coaching a Mite 2 game and I'll see Jess in the stands and I'll be reminded that we are going on 4 months delivering her son's birthday gift. And so I spend my Saturday mornings awash in guilt. As a Catholic, it feels good to be awash in guilt, but also then it reminds me I got to deliver that gift until I forget on Monday and we start the cycle anew. It's really nice for me.
You won't know the difference. You're good.
No,
Just keeps
it's
it going
in
on.
Amanda's office. It's just sitting there staring at us in the face.
I hate to bring it up, but the Humane Society is struggling. I don't know if you did the dog thing.
Yeah,
The dog
that's
thing.
yeah. Give a
Well,
shout out, Jess.
Yeah.
I know you
Talk
should have
about
done
it.
it before the new year. That's when they were trying to rally everybody. They could have used that.
Oh my gosh. Oh, that's a nice shot of guilt for Kyle.
It's all Kyle's fault.
Yeah.
Yeah, right? Man, perfect. Real brief taco story. We are going to, as you probably heard, Canada this weekend, and my oldest son's greatest ask, or what he would really like to accomplish, he'd like to eat tacos in Canada, then go back across the bridge and eat tacos in America. So he can go from Taco Time to Taco Bell. And the kids on the team are very nervous about that because he is, as a goalie, spends half the time on the bench and as far away
Goalie
from
can't
that as
get the
possible.
shits.
But yeah, right?
Goalie can't get the shits because
he can smoke out the defenseman and it's perfect for everybody.
that's right. You've noticed none of the defensemen are standing next to Archie. It's not worth it.
He usually reserves that for Tim Litzinger, who not only loses out on dessert adultery, but also gets taco shit. The goal. Poor guy.
When
I
someone
love it.
asks me what we talked about today, I'm going to be like, tacos, taco shit.
Yeah.
That's a really good answer.
Taco chips and dessert adultery.
Yeah.
It's a human experience. I really believe that. I truly believe that. Like anyone that would be like, oh my gosh, what's that? And like, you're lying. You're a liar.
When we were asked to do this podcast, Jess, they said they wanted something very North Dakota. And I said, well, we could either talk about the Fighting Sioux or we can really delve into the hockey parent stuff. And here we are.
Yeah.
So
Tacos.
I learned. Go ahead, Katie.
I just want Bailey, actually, she is part of the UND Fighting Sioux, my daughter Bailey. So I get a little piece of that. Actually, Tuesday morning, I got to spend the whole morning with the UND men's hockey team.
Yeah.
Because Bailey works out with them. She plays them ice music. Like she is like the star. So I even get a piece of UND hockey as hockey.
That's true.
It's never
So it's not just the
ever
boys.
done. Yeah. Bailey likes hockey more than my boys like hockey.
And that's a good segue because Bailey is a future guest. So
Yes.
I can't wait.
We're now booking into March. We are all of a sudden very popular.
Yep.
I'll take things
Get
Kyle
Bailey
has
on
never
it.
said for 2000.
Oh, come on.
Hey, Kyle, I learned a new hockey term this week.
I love it. Let's hear it.
Do you know what you say to a coach, or you know what a coach means when they tell you your kid is a difference maker?
Well, I have an idea, but I think this is very context driven. So let's hear your answer.
That means your kid still isn't going to play, but they sit in between the forwards and the defensemen so they can separate them from each other, and he's
That's
a
right.
difference maker.
Yeah.
A grocery stick.
I
Yeah.
heard that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yep.
They make all the difference in the world between the forwards and the defensemen.
They really do.
Yeah.
They really, really do. That's tremendous. So here's the thing. If I want my hockey trip to be smooth, I'm gonna have to go help pack. So I think I had a couple ideas to work towards. This is it'll be a very North Dakota wrap up that's gonna take 15 minutes. One,
North
does
Dakota
anybody
vibe.
have another hockey mom they like to give a shout out to? Mine's Jen Litzinger, the best apple crisp in town.
I'm trying to think because I like I said, I deal with you know what? I'm gonna go a mom that is on not the typical team, but she's on extended season, and that's Brandy Schlotteroff.
Oh,
And
yeah.
I freaking love her. And she's a fantastic hockey mom. She's intense and supportive and like just the best. Like she makes the whole experience better. So because I don't see her all the time.
Yeah.
She's my shout out. She's my favorite hockey mom because she's just all around awesome. So and I miss her when we're not with her. So
that's a really good one. Brandy was the only gal that heeded our ask for a hockey mom picture. And so I will pull that up shortly and we'll play that for Brandy.
It's because she's the damn best. So yeah. I understand that completely because and if someone said they didn't like her, I would be like, well, you're wrong and I don't like you.
Yeah.
So
100%. I'm with you. That's a great choice.
I'm going to bring up the worst. It's Andrea Reynolds because we still don't have those damn door signs. He promised us the kid door signs. We still don't have them. It's Andrea's fault.
Oh, how dare you? She's another MVP, like just a very important player. She's the damn best. So
Andrea and I graduated together.
Yes, and Andrea, she's an MVP. I will give her that all day. She's fantastic. And like Andrea gets along with everyone. I've never met anybody that gets along with more people than Andrea Reynolds. She's an anomaly. I just don't understand it, but I love it. So
good one. Well done. Jess?
You waiting for me? Oh boy.
We're waiting for you.
I'm like, oh, do I bring up this person? And then I'll feel bad I didn't bring up that person. I will have to go with the reason why we are doing hockey. And so Lauren Pochadik.
Oh yeah, good.
Neighbor Lauren.
Such a good choice.
It's such a good choice. And she's been through enough where she has a different perspective than maybe I do sometimes. And she's very good about teaching and listening and accepting and being supportive at the same time. So I don't think I could pick someone better.
That's an excellent choice.
She's wonderful.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Katie, do you have a hockey mom?
Well, here's the deal. I would go into this, but like you guys are gonna know them because like I was a teenage mom and I hung out with all older people. Like you guys are not gonna know the people that
No one.